we have been killing it lately, guys. If you've been a long-time subscriber of mine, you know we've been anticipating all of these moves from Bitcoin. While people were screaming that the bottom was going lower, we were talking about this Elliott wave, the impulsive wave, the corrective wave, the impulsive wave. Right now, I have three other possibilities we're going to look at, guys. The short-term possibility and the long-term possibility. Just remember to watch the whole thing if you want any value from this TA video. We even called the top and mentioned if we do not break over this trend line, we will go down to 20k, and this was 1 year ago. Matter of fact, guys, just watch 10 seconds of what I have to say 1 year ago. Pay attention to what I have to say in this video. You will understand better why I was so bearish at that time. A lot of people hated me, my channel didn't grow, but just pay attention exactly what I am about to say or what I said 1 year ago. Before I begin to play this video, guys, I just want to apologize for the mic you guys are about to hear. I did not have a newer mic at that time. The sound is not that good, so in advance I apologize. So yeah, keep an eye on this trend line. We need to go above this before we see the continuation of a bull run. In my opinion, if we get rejected at this area, that will be ugly, because then we'll see a downfall to 42,000, and after 42,000, as you guys can see, 42,000 to 40,000, and to 30,000, there's a great support, but then we will slowly and steady just go down, and once we at below the $30,000, that will be heavy, because then there will be blood on the street. The only resistance that will be is at $23,000 and $90,000, guys. I know people hate when I say these kind, but there's a high probability that this can happen. So be aware of this trend line, be aware of this resistance, because if we get rejected and you have a lot of money in altcoins, I will suggest to look at it, because you might get wrecked. So this is not financial advice. Even though I made these kind of videos, my channel never grew because of these bearish videos. People hated them so much. They disliked me, they deleted me from different Facebook groups, banned me, they insulted me. As you guys seen here, this is a screenshot 1 year ago when I was talking about the 20k scenario going to happen, high probability. People again insulted me. I did call this guy out, however, because I thought he was a moron, to be honest. But he did actually apologize and said I called it. And I don't care about calling it, because TA, as you guys have been a long-time subscriber, is all about probabilities. As I talked about in the previous video 1 year ago, I said there was a high probability for this outcome. And lo and behold, we went down, people got wrecked. This is how the market works, guys. Welcome guys. Welcome to Daily Crypto Trading. Before we talk about the TF Bitcoin, let's break down the recent Fed news. And I quote, "The Fed must move into more restrictive rate territory. His desire for policy rates to be between 3.75 to 4% by the end of this year. The rate path is more data dependent than it has previously been. A smooth landing does not necessitate gradualism." So basically, they're just saying they're not going to have gradually have a reduction in the inflation, like gradually and slowly hiking the interest rate, thereby avoiding, of course, an unemployment rate to hike. But because of the unemployment rate is so low, they have more ammunition to hike it aggressively, as they are saying it. And they are changing their stand 180 degree completely, from a Dovish talk to a Hawkish talk from last meeting. And we're not done yet, guys. And I quote, "We have a lot of tightening in the pipeline, but we have yet to see it in the data reflecting a slowing of the economy. This is important to understand, because the inflation might peak, but if economy is not slowing down and things are moving fast again, the inflation will keep going. Now the problem is right now, well, not a problem, that there's a low employment rate, which gives the Fed ammunition to hike the rate. However, if the employment rate suddenly change, because most likely it will change, and people lose their business and job, it will be extremely hard to hike these rates this aggressively. If they do that, they will pretty much create a rate depression, and no one is interested in that. The last depression we had, a big depression, was in 1929, I believe. I don't remember at all because I was not born at that time, but if I studied the history, it was 1929. And they will create a big mess, and they are definitely not interested in that. That is why they are telling, and they are more hawkish than they are dovish. They want the economy to slow down. And as you guys are seeing, the US unemployment rate just came out and it was 3.5%. The forecast was 3.6%. The previous was 3.6%. This is extremely low, and that is why they have more admission and excuses to hike the rate aggressively. So people might be surprised when they begin to change their stance and more data is coming in and the inflation is still not at the level they want, then they will keep hiking it aggressively. This is of course just probability and possibilities we are looking at, but they are indicating pretty clearly that they want to slow down the economy. We have been nailing the long-term TA of Bitcoin. We have been nailing it from since last year and this previous big leg down. Just watch my previous video before this even unfolded. Of course, these are only probabilities, no certainties or guarantees, as you guys know if you've been a long time subscriber of mine. And as I was talking about last on my previous video, if we break this resistance line, this trend line, then most likely the probability for an upturn or upside is higher, which means we can have an outlook something like this: a A, B, and then a C to wave 4. This is most likely where people will get very bullish again, right? The bulls will be back, right? The influencer with big followers will be back. The TA guy saying is following my TA for years or something like that will be back. All of these people will be back promoting Bitcoin, not understanding that this is a sucker rally. This is still a bearish structure on the long term. There's still a motive, all right? And most likely we're going to get rejected at the 30k, 32k area, even maybe 28k. Between 28 to 34k we will get rejected. This is the golden pocket area, but this is if we surpass this resistance line, and this trend line is validated. The reason it's validated is because once it hit the trend line more than 3 times, then it's validated. This is where people who make TA never tell you because they have no idea what they're doing or don't understand. And now we broke through this trend line and using a support. Now this is looking like an ABC, and this is really important. You have to move as an ABC in the weekly before this get validated, right? A big move to the A, and then B, and then A. Now, of course, this is important that these only probabilities. The wave 4 can even be lower. So we might see something like this: a wave A, wave B, then we have our wave C around this area, and this 4 level. The wave 4 will actually end around this area, around 25k. We get rejected and go back down to fib level 1618, all right, around to 30,000 to 40,000. This is also a possibility. However, I do believe we have a higher probability to actually see this 28 to 32k before we get down. And I've been talking about this before this even unfold. Watch my previous video, guys. Again, these are based on the weekly charts, weekly candlesticks, so this can take weeks before this unfold. Patience is key. Remember, guys, in the elite wave, there's a rule. If wave 4 surpass wave 1, this TA get invalidated and we have to start over. The price for that will be, let me just see, guys, the price will be around, if the wave 1 ended here, yeah, that is the fib level 0382, 36,000 to 40,000. If it's above this area, right, then this TA gets pretty much invalidated and we have a higher probability for an uptrend. That means we are breaking this long-term bearish structure. This is important, but if we haven't broken that, I don't see any reason to why to stay bullish. All right, I do want to be bullish. I do want to have Bitcoin go up. It means more money to me. But the reality is, and the fact is, we are in this long-term bearish structure. And before we break that down, we are not in a bullish uptrend. And that is what people who have a lot of followers do not understand. They have this bullish sentiment all the time, but most people just get wrecked. That is how emotional traders get liquidated and they get wrecked. If we look at the different indicators, such as the RSI, we can see we have been oversold, as I've been talking about in my previous video. We went up oversold area, but we are still in a downtrend and we are still low. So most likely what we're going to do is we're going to test this 50 area. If you're a long time subscriber, you know 15 area is a key area in the RSI, because are we below that, then we are in a downtrend. Again, this is based on the weekly. Look at the RSI stock. We broke the oversold, we're breaking the 50, and we most likely will go to the overbought area. All right, so this will be below 50 this will be above 70, which means it's overbought. All right. And this, let me just show you, the MACD will pretty much cross. All right, so just look, this is the MACD line, this is the signal line. When these two crosses like this, that is a bullish cross, but be aware that this signals line, the MACD line, is below 0, which means we are still in a downtrend. Just because they are crossing and we have some bullish momentum in a short period of time does not indicate that we are in a bull run. So the most likely what's going to happen, if we're also seeing that the sellers are losing momentum in a short period of time, that means that in histogram we will see it will be blue in my, but in yours most likely be green, that the bulls will step in and we'll see bullish statement. All right, and again, this is a key indicator. This is really important to understand. We will move from A to B. We have a small flush down, maybe 20k, before we see a bigger movement to almost 30k, and we'll crush down the 25k resistance area almost to 28 to 30k before we see this rejection. Now this is only a probability, of course, no guarantee. Every indication, every indicators, every trading possibility are showing me this scenario. The only thing again that can get invalidated is we move wave 4 above wave 1 and we stay there. Then we break this long-term bearish structure. When that is broken, then we can look at the bullish scenario. On the short term, it's looking differently, even giving us different possibility, different scenario. Now, if you again have been a long time subscriber of mine, you know we talk about this very bearish ascending channel before it broke down and went to the deep abyss. The same channel is now unfolding at these price levels, and there's two possibilities if we break this channel. The first one will be around 40,000 to 13.9k Bitcoin, and the second possibility, which is a less likely possibility but still a probability, to 7,764 for Bitcoin. That is ouch low, but for me that is an accumulation area. Everything below 20k is an accumulation area for me. We could also look at another angle of this and look at it as an Elliott wave. We have a wave 1, we have a wave 2, then we have a wave 3, and this is an extension wave 3, all right, with a complex wave. Then we have a wave 4. Wave 4 is still not unfolding because remember, in the Elliott wave, the correct wave is a ABC. So right now we are going to a B area, then a C area, all right? And remember, the wave 4 cannot be lower than wave 1. Once we are at wave 4, all right, people again, we get very bearish, saying, all right, we're going to 3k Bitcoin, something like that. We will have a reversal all the way to wave 5. There will be a strong wave 5 to around again to 29k, aligned with a long-term TA. This is of course a possibility in this Elliott wave. The wave, however, can be a lower wave. It can actually be the same wave as wave 3 or hit a fib level 1618, which is around 25,000, and then get rejected. All right, that means we will get around wave, let me just do it instead, wave 1 ABC, and then wave 5 will get rejected here. Remember, there's a subwave of 5 waves, get rejected here and then go back. This is of course a possibility also, guys. If you look at different indicators, we can also see that we are above 50 in the daily chart, which means we are still in an uptrend. And the RSI stock above 50, again an uptrend. You guys can see it's holding support at the 50 area, but most likely it will break down this 50 area and the RSI stock and go down with the oversold. That is actually a good thing, which means the RSI will still be at 50 area. This indicates that we are ABC zigzag correction is done, and then we have a reversal to wave 5, an impulsive wave 5. Now, if we look at the MACD, we can actually see a bearish cross there, almost kissing it, where the bulls are losing momentum again, showing that we are going down to wave 4 before we see a reversal to wave 5. Because again, in the daily, we are above the 0, which means we are still in an uptrend, and the bulls are losing momentum. But I'm pretty sure once we are at wave 4, we will have some kind of reversal. Again, these are probabilities, no guarantees. If you look at the third possibility, we are seeing a leading diagonal in the Elliott wave unfolding. This might be a bit confusing if you are not into trading or do not know how Elliott wave works, but I will do my best to try to explain this for you guys. The right corner right over here, you guys are seeing a textbook. This is my own textbook I made for my own students. If you're interested in learning TA, proper TA, no BS, no hype, Then you can click on my Patreon and choose All Access Plus Trader. But do not join this if you're not interested in this. Really important. Some people might join thinking they will be millionaire overnight. That is not realistic, guys. This is proper TA. I'm not going to send you guys random videos, something like that. I'm going to have a classroom set up on Discord where we have live trading. I'm showing the Fibonacci, the Elliott wave. I have educational system based on my textbooks and the principle of Elliott wave and so on. So far, few people are joining it. That is because I haven't showed this to many people, because I don't want too many people joining. So do not join unless you're 100% sure. If you're 100% sure, still don't join. Try to go into my Discord and ask the people who are in this classroom how they feel. Don't take my word for it. Ask them. A leading triangle is a bullish pattern. It looked like a rising wedge, which is of course bearish, but then cut off people and surprised people where we have a big movement to wave 3. It has 5, is labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and has 5 sequence. The leading diagonal is shown as zigzag, zigzag, and zigzag, which is a ABC, ABC, ABC. It has a subwaves of 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, as we are seeing over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're seeing a zigzag, 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 exactly as the textbooks are showing us. And at the moment we are at wave B moving to wave C. So this is labeled as 5. Or 4 is done, we are moving to 5. After that, we might get rejection here. Remember, if we get rejection, we are going to wave 2. And wave 2 will be remember, corrective wave, a zigzag again, something like this. Once we find the bottom of wave 2, we will have this big, huge wave to wave 3, which will be extended wave 3 most likely to the supply zone where we get rejected. We will go back again with an ABC, something like this, and we'll find wave 4. Remember, wave 4 cannot go below wave 1. And then we will go to wave 5. The wave 5 can be what we call a truncation, which means it won't surpass wave 3, or it can try to retest these resistance area. We call this a supply zone where there's a lot of supplies. If this does not hold and fail, get ready for volatility, guys, because this is where a lot of people will be taken off guard. A lot of moon boys, a lot of influencers will say, I told you so, I told you this was the bottom, we will not go lower. All this bullish sentiment will kick in, and after that we will get rejected. They have not understanding of the macroeconomic. They do not understand these substructures or these waves. They have no idea. They don't have a plan or risk management, and most of them will get liquidated or get wrecked. But remember, guys, I am not a financial advisor. Always do your own due diligence or you might get yourself wrecked. Now the important part, this is based on the daily and that we do not know where wave 2 is. So the thing we can do is of course using our Fib retracement tool, which I'm also teaching on my classrooms. So if we take our Fib tool, Fib retracement tool, and say from the endpoint to wave 1, and we think wave 1 will be around this area, we can see that wave 2 can go all the way and retrace to 0.65 or 0.618. You guys can see it, but I know it because I can memorize it. That is the golden ratio, and between these two lines, that is the golden pocket. That will be a strong support area, demand zone. And remember, wave 2 cannot extend wave 1, which is around this area. If you go more than 100%, as you guys are seeing, more than 100%, this gets invalidated. Very important to understand that the Elliott wave rules. It can retrace to 0.382, which is around 22,000, 21,900, or it can retrace to the golden pocket area, which is around 20 to 19,000. These are the possibilities we are seeing. But once we find the wave 2, you'll most likely to wave 3. And the way we find wave 3, again, check this in my classroom, we can take the trend-based Fib extension, measure the wave 0 point to wave 1 and 2. Then we can see the Fib, which is the most important Fib level. This is golden ratio again, 16118. That will be extended of wave 3, which means we can have wave 3 all the way here to 32k, all right? And then we can retrace the golden pocket area, or even at 100%, and then wave 5 can, retest it. But these are just data we don't know yet. We still have to make our wave 2 before we can find the wave 3, right? This is only probability, low probability for these wave 3. We need to have a foundation. We need to go down and then find wave 2. Then we can calculate where wave 3 might go. The way this TA get invalidated is if you go below 17k or around 17k, this TA is getting invalidated. Remember, these are probabilities, no guarantees or certainties. If you look at the S&P 500, a lot of people are bullish, but I'm not that bullish on the S&P 500. If you look at the S&P 500, they haven't really broken the bearish downtrend, right? They have some corrective to the upside, but just look, right? We have a bearish rising wedge with a price target of 369, all right? If you look at the volume is going down, right? The price actually going up. I don't know where people get the idea from, but this is a clear bearish diversion and clear indicator that we are going down. Again, probability, no guarantee. Also, if you look at, that was quite annoying. If you look at the RSI, look, we are not going above 50. We are almost kissing the 50 area, trying to surpass it. And look at this resistance level. We are just getting rejected. So most likely this will get rejected unless we get volume somehow. Unless the market become bullish, the Fed again talk dovish talk, but at the moment we are talking about hawkish talk. So at the moment the market do not know how to react, but on a technical point of view, this is looking bearish, all right? And again, we are getting in the overbought area. Just let me remind you guys, this is based on the weekly. This take a week before it unfold, but once this break again, then we are going down, and then again, hell will go loose. This will again take weeks before this unfold. A lot of people are saying that the Dixie is looking weak or bearish. I don't know where they get the information from, but that is not what I'm seeing. I've been talking about the Dixie since last year. I was talking about this falling wedge that we have a continuation pattern and so on. Just recently, guys, I was talking about the Dixie movement. I said before this unfold, I said we have a big carbon handle with a high probability of a target of 108. And lo and behold, we held the target, and then I talk about this corrective pattern. Again, we hold it. I talk about we will reach 105 before we held a lift up. Lo and behold, we did it again and again and again. And this is not something I'm saying out of the blue air. These are posts before they even happened a month ago. Go and follow my Twitter and check my Twitter, guys. Specifically, I said that in the golden pocket area, we'll most likely hold support, then we will go up. And this will also be a big resistance and challenge for the Dixie. However, if we break this structure, and the structure is if we break this trend line, this is not a beautiful trend line, but this line, and break this 105, goes down, retests it, goes down, then yeah, I will also be bearish. But for the moment, I don't see that unfolding whatsoever. I only see that we have a high probability for the upside. Look at the RSI, we are above 50. Look at the, which means that we are an uptrend continuation. If you look at the RSI stock, we are oversold, indicating we are going more up. If you look at the MACD, it is showing that we are still in an uptrend because the signals line are still up. We're not crossing for bullish momentum, but we will soon. So in my opinion, also just look at this. The sellers are losing momentum. We are going to a histogram with the more bulls, all right? So I don't see where people get the idea from about this bearish structure, because I'm only see a bullish structure and a high probability for upside. And one last thing, guys, before we end this video. Why will an institution or company such as Tesla sell their Bitcoin when they had diamond hands on the bull run? Because they used most retail people as exit liquidity. The only reason we knew they sold their Bitcoin, the spot Bitcoin, was because of the earnings report, and then later they explained and use it as an excuse why they sold it. Now, don't get me wrong, it is their Bitcoin. They can do whatever they want, but people, especially retail, was blown away when Elon Musk announced he will buy Bitcoin. Adoption is here, we will use Bitcoin, and then he turned away from Bitcoin to Dogecoin, all these kind of narrative. These are only narrative. I'm going to say it again. Money talks, all right? It's all about getting so much profit as possible. They don't have this idea of a blockchain decentralized place. Now, some do believe in the innovation and the technology behind it. And most people, including you and myself, are for the money. We came because of the money, and we are staying because of the money. And we are also seeing the technology behind it. But most people only come here for the money. And why will the same thing not apply for the hedge funds, for the big pension funds, for the institution, right? And for the rich people? Of course, they want as much money as possible. But a lot of people, especially the maxis or something like that, they will build this narrative that we're going to hold it to get to the moon and so on. And that is just wrong in a technical point of view and a fundamental point of view. But the reality, they pretty much sold it to get some profit, and they will most likely buy it when things are low, when no one are again talking about it, when the last panic is in, when there's more blood in the street, they will begin to accumulate more. That is what I believe will happen. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this TA of Bitcoin, there will be more TA video on the left corner. I recommend you to watch those videos. Also, if you want to join our Discord server, it is for free, guys. We talk crypto 24/7. See you in the Discord server.